Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. There's so many ways these folks can protect your home, including crawl space encapsulation. They also do mosquito treatments. They do the fall invaders treatments in the fall. They do the termite treatments, obviously. They come out, check your home. They just do the regular treatments, which I have them do for me as well. I've used these guys for a lot of years. They go all over East Tennessee, so check out southeasttermite.com or reach out to them this week. Good family-owned business since 1971, Southeast Termite and Pest Control. All right, we covered the good. Now it's time for the bad. I want to talk about the weaknesses instead of the strengths. If Tennessee doesn't reach the Sweet 16, what will the 3 reasons be? Vincent, I'll go with you first. Actually, Vincenzo, I go with you first.
Either way, I take all versions. But I think it's a front court scoring consistency. If they don't have Olivier Camois, especially because he's the most skilled and most proven to score inside, if he is not doing that and they're relying too much on the three-point shot and other ways to win, I think that holds this team back, and they're going to run into a roadblock because of it. When he was scoring inside and you can go get a bucket in the post and play inside-outside with that threat to score inside, that's a game changer. I think it's a game changer. Josiah Jordan-James told me it's a game changer for their team. So I'm going to trust him as well. It makes them so much more difficult to defend when he is dialed in and good inside. So I think that consistency of front court scoring could hold them back if they don't have it.
All right, very good. Who wants to go next?
I wonder, can Tennessee and its key players over the next couple of months hold up? And we've talked about depth, which is really good, and right now they're in a really good position because of that. But Josiah has dealt with the knee injury, so does he hold up? They're playing Zakai a lot of minutes, a lot on Zakai right now. He played 77 minutes, as you mentioned, John, this week, 40 in one game. So can he hold up? And then Vescovi's had his shoulder issue, which was re-aggravated this past week. Those are arguably their 3 most important players. So can they hold up over the next 6 to 8 weeks heading into the postseason?
And Josh, if Zakai isn't, if they're relying on him too much and he is either injured or foul trouble or whatever, they have to change their lineup a lot. And then whether it's James, Vescovi, or Key at the point, they're much different. Now you're at 2 positions that you're not as good. So that's a great point.
Well, you've got so much depth that it's easy to cover. Well, not easy, but you're able to cover when 1 guy's down or when 2 guys. You start losing 2 or 3 of your main guys. That depth disappears pretty quick.
Well, that's a wound from when Kyle Alexander in that run, when Kyle Alexander was injured, and that affected Tennessee's run in the tournament. So
we lost Olivier last year. We've
seen it. And one of the things was Coach Barnes is doing an incredible job. I don't understand when the game is over, we're up by 20 points, and there's like 2-3 minutes left. Sit him down, man. Take him out. We keep our starters in the game so long after we're already blowing some people out. So we can save some minutes there. For me, zone offense. I think our zone offense right now, we can get stagnant. We were saved by Julian Phillips at times, making against USC. He made some mid-range jump shots. But our zone offense gets stagnant. We've struggled against pressure. We've not broken pressure at times. Mississippi State kind of changed the game a little bit the first time around. We've showed instances where we just turn the ball over. When Zakai gets going too fast, and he's always playing really fast, but he can get out of control sometimes, and we get these turnovers that keep people in the game. And so for me, it's those 2 more X's and O's piece of it, but I agree with the things that they had mentioned.
So nobody here is going to say it. You're going to leave it for me.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, well, somebody's got to say the obvious, the elephant in the room, and that is Rick Barnes' track record as a tournament coach is not great. Now, somebody right now is shooting out their television set saying, won the SEC last year, and that's true. He's made a Final Four in his career as well. He won the Big East tournament years ago. But the fact of the matter remains, there's a long history of flameouts when this team was projected to go further. I mean, last year, for example, losing to Michigan, which was not that great a team. And you lose to in the second round when you've been crying about a number 1 seed. You got the number 2 seed and lost to Michigan. So that to me is a question. I think he's a tremendous coach. I think if I were an athletic director, I would absolutely 100% pay him whatever it took to keep him here running my program, keeping it between the white lines, making sure we're doing well. No embarrassments on or off the court, all that stuff. The winning streak you're talking about. But if you're going to have 3 reasons they're not going to make a Sweet 16, one of them has to be Rick Barnes' track record. And I hope he proves me wrong, but response? Am I the bad guy for saying that? No one here was thinking it, right? None of you were thinking that.
No,
They won't even comment on that. Okay.
No, I for sure. I mean, it's and you've 100%. Until he can show that he can advance past with the quality of teams that he's had, with the number 1 rankings in the regular season, number 2, like you gotta. It's time to get past that Sweet 16.
Well, and fans still think that too. I mean, if Tennessee loses a game, which isn't as often now, but when they lose a game, it pops up in my text threads. It just like, see, this is like, well, it happens everywhere, but. Yeah, it's going to come up among Tennessee fans.
One of my favorite pastimes is when I see something when I see something happen in real life, I immediately dive for one of the message boards. It's like, oh, let's read this because I know what I'm going to see. And last week, the Kentucky loss, before it's over, I'm at one of the message boards and I'm saying, "Rocking chair Rick." Retirement Rick, what's the there's another one. It's like, he's decided today he's going to take it easy. Today's the day he's, you know what, I don't need to be here. I'm just collecting a check. Those other 20 wins on the season, I'll show up. But today, nah. But no, it's the line, and it's what everybody's going to continue to say until he gets over that hump. And again, when you've been here 8 years and you've only been to the Sweet 16 once, you got to get past it.
And to your point, we've seen it during the regular season. One of the weaknesses I wrote down was inconsistency, where every once in a while they'll have that dud performance, that wake-up call, and then they're so good after that. Well, that ends your season if that happens in the postseason. So this team has shown they could do that in a one-game
They would have been great after Michigan last year.
The other piece that doesn't help is you've seen what Pearl's got to a Final Four at Auburn, right? While Barnes has been here.
Yeah.
You've had Alabama get to make a run. Arkansas is making a run. You've seen other SEC teams making runs, which just adds to the expectations of what Barnes has got to get done.
Yep.
Well, it had to be mentioned. So I would put that. I don't know if what I'm bumping here. Front court scoring, injuries, zone offense, or the Barnes thing. Yeah, I don't think you know what you're talking about, so I'm going to bump your. All right.
I'm going to
what's
get you
the
some more
coach now?
pastimes. Your pastimes checking the message board.
That's great. That's great. All right. When we come back, what happens when a $13 million NIL deal goes kaput? We'll discuss that next on the Sports Source.